Southeast Texas Weekly continues as we talk about some of the candidates. Let's begin with the Republican candidates. Nobody wants to talk about the Republican candidate. I mean, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie jumps in, and everybody more or less goes, okay.
Well, you know, one of the great
Doesn't seem to
things,
be a lot
I
of-
think this really is a great thing that you have people discussing ideas, and the more candidates you have, everybody's not going to have their program or their platform is not going to be exactly the same. If the three of us were running, you know, Buddy, what's yours? Mike, what's yours? We may have some things in common, but there are going to be a different focus from Ted Cruz, from Donald Trump, from Bobby Jindal, Chris Christie, and Jeb Bush.
Buddy would make a great governor, as I see it. Actually,
I will accept the appointment.
I just want to throw it in there.
I will accept the appointment. Thank you,
Without
Ken.
saying.
I just had to throw that out.
Latest
as
poll,
an aside.
latest poll out of North Carolina Republican primary poll shows Donald Trump leading by 4 points.
But you
Really?
know why? One of the things that he's discussing, and if you listen to what he said, and he talked for like 52 minutes, he talked about the fact that the amount of illegal aliens that have crossed the United States border, and what they make up of federal crimes is 37% of the federal crimes. And when you think, wait a minute.
Well, I think that's 37% of the crimes in the Southern District of Texas, not
Oh, no.
nationwide.
Oh, no. See, immigrants, when you just throw in all the immigrants that ever moved from someplace and say, you know, and that's not to say that immigrants across the board are violent criminals. They're not. But when you look at the illegal aliens that have crossed, like the one that killed the lady in San Francisco, had been deported 5 times on felony charges.
Convicted on 7 crimes.
Yeah, and you go, and San Francisco won't turn him over to ICE.
Yeah.
These sanctuary cities, I guarantee you, there's a distinct possibility that they will pass a bill that if they get deported and cross back over again and they're caught, 5 years in prison, automatic.
All right. Well, let me get to this part, because where I was going with that, and Trump did make a bit of a splash last week. This week, Governor Chris Christie jumps in. I didn't notice that much splash about him. Maybe there was more than I'm seeing. But Hillary Rodham Clinton jumps in with her first full-scale interview with a CNN reporter. And immediately we start talking about some questions that she's forgotten about. Among them, whether she got a subpoena. When we see this, and we see Hillary Clinton referencing how she is believed and trusted by the American people, we see some polls that arguably might question that. What do you think of not really a launch of a campaign, but at least the beginning of her more public conversation with America?
Hillary certainly needs to be aware of her trust issues with the public, and I think that I've listened to the interview, and I think Hillary was answering the question she thought the reporter had asked and probably should have asked, which is, did you receive the subpoena before or after your emails were deleted? And the answer is that the emails were deleted before she received the subpoena.
Oh. Is that the way you took it as well, Mr. Reynolds?
I believe that's the way Ms. Clinton meant to answer the question. She said, I'd never received a subpoena. I think the end of that, like Michael said, was I didn't receive a subpoena before I cleaned up my emails.
But am I crazy? Do you remember if you get a subpoena, right?
Well, Trey Gowdy had a press conference. Everybody knows she got a subpoena.
Well,
she didn't
obviously,
deny that.
She didn't get the word, you know. But you'll also remember that when they were testifying, when President Clinton was the president, and they actually brought her up and asked her some questions. Between the two of them, they said, I don't recall, I think 162 times. Now, these are the smartest people in the world, according to some sources, that never forget anything. And she forgot a subpoena. she forgot, oh yeah, I didn't know I couldn't set up my own server in my own house and email Sidney Blumenthal that President Obama said, I don't want that guy anywhere around you. She forgot that too. I mean, she's awfully forgetful for being the smartest woman in the world. I know I was surprised.
Yeah, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it with those strong words. Gentlemen, thanks very much. We appreciate it. We'll be back to talk about some of these same topics and many more right after this.